Hi, Emily.
Hi, Uncle Jamie.
I have some MCU movies that we could watch. Which one of these MCU movies do you want to watch?
You don't have Eternals?
No.
Can we watch Eternals?
Yeah, let's take a swing at that.
Sometimes I watch a movie and I love it. Other times, not so much. Then I talk about it with somebody I may or may not be related to, and they don't agree. That's where Movie Advocate comes in. We take a movie we either love or hate and try to convince the other person that they're wrong. And the best part is I win every time because we're talking about movies. Okay, let's go!
So, today, Emily, you are on the hot seat. You are advocating for the movie The Eternals, which I think is fair to say generally split critics, regardless if you want to say that it's one of the least, or one of the, received some of the lower in the echelon of MCU movies reviews. I mean, I think like average reviews out of 10 is like 5.6.
Yes.
Which is like obviously not like a disaster. I mean, it's probably a disaster if you're Kevin Feige.
Definitely.
Like he probably doesn't like it, but not the most well received MCU movie. Not sure if it's the worst received MCU movie at this point.
It's the worst. I'm sure Quantumania
did
not do as well as people hoped.
But did people like Quantumania?
I don't think they did.
Yeah.
To be honest, I know that was one of the last ones where they were trying to fit in Kang the Conqueror.
Yes.
Before they just decided to nix the whole multiverse idea.
Or at least abandon the Kang portion of it.
Exactly. And I think a lot of people were just disappointed about how that played out.
Yeah, I mean, for the presumably last Ant-Man movie, and you know, for the first time you're getting like a lot of Kang, it was not amazing. So yeah, like that aside, like we can't escape the context in which the movie exists.
Correct.
But as it is, like it is a movie. I saw it whenever it came to streaming, and we just watched it again.
Yes, we did.
And the question for me is, did this change my mind? How will you advocate for The Eternals? That's what it's called.
Yes.
Marvel giving me a lot of credit there to understand the difference between the Eternals and the Inhumans and all the different things. So, after we watched the Eternals, the first thing I wrote down is comedy is forced. I didn't laugh once.
I would agree with that. One of the things that on most of my rewatches, almost all of the dialogue is choppy, and I feel like I am kind of getting the clip notes of what they want to be saying in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And there are really only a couple of scenes where I find that like it's meant to be like the Eternals are kind of meant to have like this family dynamic that they were kind of promoting a lot of, I believe, in trailers leading up to the film. And a lot of it doesn't land, and I feel like that kind of brings me to the first big concession I tend to make, which is that this probably should have been a series on Disney+.
Yeah, like the amount of story they're trying to fit in. Although I would say the movie feels long. How long is it actually?
It was, I think, 2.5 hours, which is like up there with the longer MCU movies.
Sure.
Which I think makes it ironic that, like, giving it a series, like, I feel like it could be longer. I feel like for as long as it is, it still feels rushed.
There's also something about, like, the tone of the dialogue that makes them kind of feel like less like a family and more like quippy teenagers, like a high school clique.
Okay.
Fall collection. IKEA.
Is there something about like the way they talk, not Angelina Jolie, really, but basically everybody else. And I think that's just like the thing about the tone, right? They're just kind of, the dialogue in itself is just kind of meant to be like light, I guess to maybe balance against the heavy nature of the movie itself, I guess, is what they're trying. I think that's what's supposed to be happening, is that like the characters themselves are supposed to be light and fun against this backdrop of not light and fun at all.
Right. I feel like I could give you kind of an interpreted in-universe explanation that these characters have
There was
been.
one line in there that like they're not supposed to evolve or something like
Yes.
that. And is that what you're
That's not quite where I was going.
Okay.
I was gonna say they have been on Earth for 6,000 years and been integrated into so many cultures and probably learned so many languages that, like, obviously we see them talking in English in their flashbacks, but that could be like they could be talking in whatever eternal language they speak, or they could be talking in whatever language of whatever civilization they're currently occupying. And when we see them in the present and they're talking in English, that's like it's not their first language, so
Right,
some
sure.
of it comes off stilted and not quite there. But again, that would be like, that's kind of a reach
Yeah.
that I am kind of headcanoning into existence.
Right. The thing I find the most interesting about this movie is that I generally like the characters.
Oh yes.
And I mostly understand why the characters do the things they do. But it's not always clear to me why the characters relate to each other in the way they do. And I think that there is also like an in-universe explanation, like particularly why are Sersi and Ikaris in love?
I know.
And I'm not sure. And I think like the
For-
in-universe explanation could be that they've always been in love.
Yeah.
And like they're just sort of they just remember, like it's just hardwired into their
Right.
brains.
Right. For being like kind of the main couple
Mm.
of this show, they're kind of the ones I get the least chemistry off of.
Yeah.
Because you have like Thena and Gilgamesh, I feel like are kind of and people can interpret them like as romantic or platonic.
Yeah.
I've seen both. But like if you want to interpret them as romantic, it's like a really sweet taking care of her, like being kind of her rock as she's going through her mad weary epidemic. And then like the other couple that came out of this was Druig and Makari, which almost like I think less than 10 minutes of like interactive moments,
Yeah.
but like
It's
bantery, flirty. And then you have Ikaris and Sersi who just like make eye contact a couple times and then are suddenly having sex on a beach.
yes. Like so those two couple, but like it's at least clear that they love each other and you just have to deal with it.
Yeah.
And this happens in Superman: the movie.
Okay.
Where like they just kind of jump to Clark has been at the Fortress of Solitude for a long time. Like he learns all the stuff from his father. Now he just has a Superman outfit, and he's Superman. And today's his first day at the Daily Planet, and he's just in love with Lois. I'm like, why? I'm like, I don't know. He just is. Just deal with it. Clark Kent is in love with Lois Lane. That's just how it works. Just deal with it. And I kind of feel like this movie's doing that as well. Both of those two couples, and whereas Athena and Gilgamesh is very much open to. I think you can go whichever way you choose.
Absolutely.
I don't think that's like the problem. If the movie was just doing a better job, I want to say with its pace, maybe. I don't know, because like I'm never confused. This is the thing I think that's really frustrating for me about this movie. It's not really the characters, although like the thinness is not great, and it's not really the story because I'm not confused really about the story. But maybe it would be easier to be like more involved with the story if I was a little bit more interested in the characters, or at least their relationships between, or like what motivates their relationships. Yeah, I guess like just generally I find this movie frustrating. Even though I wouldn't say I hate it, but I didn't particularly want to watch it again. But I'm not sorry I watched it again.
Okay.
But I don't think I ever really want to watch it again.
Okay.
But I would kind of be interested in a sequel to this movie because I feel like they've done all of the heavy lifting, and like now, like, and I think like you get that a lot of times in like a movie serial, particularly when it's a trilogy. The second one is usually the best one because they've usually introduced all the characters and like they've done all the heavy lifting, and now they can just kind of concentrate on development. What would you say is the most frustrating aspect of this movie?
I think we could have traded out some of like the present day scenes for more of their 6,000 year journey together when they were still like acting as a team, and to see those relationships get built up more, and like not just the romantic relationships. I want to see like two random characters just being best friends in the background, and I want to see like Ajak, because Ajak is like very much like the maternal figure, and just her like giving more, because we kind of only see her interact one-on-one with Ikaris in the past, and those are like feel very forced, and I think it would have been interesting to see her like kind of more with the others.
Yeah, I'm curious if there's more there that they just cut.
And that is kind of where it gets not complicated, just like a little weird for me, because I spent a lot of time after the film's release in like the fandom and reading everyone's fan fictions about this film and kind of getting a lot of made up backstory for them, that some of it I just can't separate from what we see in canon. I think that contributes in part to my great love of this movie, is like what I have accepted as canon in the back of my head.
Because you like the universe that the movie takes place in.
Yes, right. I think that like 6,000 years of like bouncing around different cultures and having different like, because almost I think every Eternal is kind of meant to pull some inspiration from various mythologies, and people were having a lot of fun, like, Athena as the goddess Athena, and Makari took like Mercury for the name, who is the Roman god of travel, who is the equivalent of Hermes in Greek mythology, and just like different interpretations with that. Gilgamesh is obviously the reference to Mesopotamian epic.
And you're very interested
Yes,
in...
I am a big mythology.
Yeah. More
nerd.
Greek than...
Yeah, I would say most Greek. I am the Percy Jackson pipeline. I definitely will like project those kind of different personas onto the characters where perhaps they are not necessarily displaying them in the movie. Everyone just like really emphasized was like Gilgamesh cooks all the food, and I was kind of like, oh, he does actually cook all the food in the film.
He does. I don't exactly know like what motivates that. He's like, wasn't like Gilgamesh is like a warrior.
He's like strength.
Yeah, and I don't know exactly. Yeah, I think that's one of the things where it's just like, oh, he cooks all the food. Like, that's interesting. It's like, what motivates him? Like, I don't know.
I think it's just kind of supposed to be like that contrast between like big strong warrior, and then like we obviously get that meant to be comedic shot where Kingo's like the mighty Gilgamesh, and he comes out in the apron.
Yes. A lot of people talk about in other films, like outside the MCU, like the MCU-ification of like those other films, whatever they may be. And like this movie, I feel like is like the Guardians of the Galaxy-ification of like an MCU movie that's not Guardians of the Galaxy. It's like it has to be funny, and I'm like, I don't know like how funny these characters are supposed to be, but then like the director often has them all just posing.
Yes.
You know, like just posing in this movie. And I was like, could you cut some of
shots?
The hero pose shots, like if we could cut some of those just in like duration, like you don't need to like lose the entire shot. Maybe going through the characters is helpful. Ikaris, we hardly knew ye, but like I know what motivates Ikaris. You know, generally it's that he loves Sersi, even though we don't know why. We know like that's like one of his motivating factors.
She's pretty.
And she
I don't blame Gemma Chan.
Yeah, there's no question about that. And she, I think, probably has the hardest job in the movie. Because like as like our point of view character, she has to like emote to like everything, but like she has no base to stand on. It's just like, I don't know, she's just like a super nice lady, and like I was like, but like what motivates that? And it's like, I don't know, she's just super nice. You have to take my word for it, and which is fine, I guess. But I do think that's like one of the character portraits that's just like a little underdrawn. But like over the course of the movie, you're just like, well, she's just a nice lady. She just does nice things for people because she cares, which is fine. It's not like the most amazing storytelling, I guess, is how I feel. Given the reveal that everyone is a robot, essentially.
Yes. Is that how it is in the comics as well?
I 100% do not
Okay.
know. I barely remember the Inhumans. No, they're not Inhumans. They're Eternals. Again, like, I kind of remember the Inhumans a little bit from the comics. There's just like a wide swath of just never-ending characters. Sometimes there just needs to be a new character every month. You know, there's just so many characters, you know, like Water Wizard. I'm sure I've mentioned, like, the Scourge of the Underworld. Like, is just a character who showed up and just murders the criminals. And there's just so many, like, awful villain of the month that he could just, like, murder, like, 50 of them over, like, a year, and it totally didn't matter. Like, nobody missed Blue Streak, who's just a guy in, like, a blue outfit with, like, roller skates that, like, had, like, rockets on them. So, yeah, I don't know. There's just, like, an endless universe. And each, like, individual, like, starring character has, like, an endless universe of characters. So, like, I don't really know these people. I know Star Fox. I was like, oh, I know Star Fox. He's an Avenger. I was like, oh, he's...
Harry Styles.
Yeah, it seems like we're never going to get there. But I guess, like, that implies, if the reveal is that they're all a bunch of robots, and, like, they were all created in that big room with, like, a bajillion other robots, that there are a bajillion other Ikarises who will just show up and love her. In a theoretical Eternals 2, which I'm sure will never happen, he would just be like, oh, hello, Sersi, I love you. Because, like, Ikaris just loves Sersi, and that's how it is. So, like, I feel like in a hypothetical world where they were just going to keep making Eternals movies, that's just what would have happened. And, like, any time. And it would just sort of, like, retcon this movie into being less important because they're, like, disposable and interchangeable. Like, any one of the Eternals who died, you just swap in a new Gilgamesh and, like, you just pick up from where you left off. Because there's endless Gilgamesh robots out there in the universe.
Because they have that line where Arishem is revealing everything to Sersi.
Right.
That she's a robot, and he, like, specifically says, like, you are incapable of evolution, unlike the deviants who were, like, the trial run and didn't work out, who did evolve. But, like, if they're incapable of evolution, then, like, how are they capable of, like, messing up his plans?
Yeah, I mean, and in the first place, what's the Galactus guy's name? The Celestial who's in charge in this movie.
Arishem.
Arishem. Why did Arishem bother telling Sersi any of that anyway? She doesn't need to know that to perform her function, does she?
Because she just kept asking questions about it, I guess.
I know, and the kid would be like, shut up, just do your job, serve your purpose, or I'll replace you with another identical robot. And she'd be like, what? Like, nothing. Just do it, or else. Let me put it that way. Yeah, I don't know. Like this is the thing about comic books in general, like specifically Marvel Comics and DC Comics, is that, like, the deeper you go, kind of the worse it gets. Where it's like if you kind of, like, grow up and you're like, oh yeah, like the Fantastic Four have to deal with Galactus. He's this giant Celestial, and there's, like, this whole thing. Then it's like, oh, there's more Celestials, and you're kind of like, oh, that kind of makes Galactus less important. You know, it's like, oh, there's a bajillion Eternals. It's like, oh, well, then, like, I'm not sure how much these people matter if they're all identical.
Right.
And they're all... But, like, at the same time, like, it's kind of, like, interesting for, like, the Eternals as, like, a species, and Sprite, you know, wondering why her creator made her that way. And that's, like, kind of really interesting. Like, I feel like there's, like, a lot of, like, missed opportunities, and they kind of explore Sprite.
Yes. She's got, like, that Claudia from Interview with the Vampire complex.
Yes, that's
she can't
right.
grow up.
She's
6,000 years old in the mind of, like, a 14-year-old.
Right.
6,000-year-old mind in the body of a 14-year-old, and
right.
that leads to all sorts of messiness.
Right. Taking Sersi as the point of view character, she's, like, the least interesting character. Right? Because, like, ultimately, like, Ikaris has this secret that, like, we eventually find out. Athena has all this, like, baggage and, like this unique situation. And, like, Gilgamesh has, like, this burden. I just think, like, making any one of these other characters the point of view character, that probably would have made for a far more interesting movie but like they just want to kind of like project and like bounce everything off in Sersi and like kind of like make Sersi just like an avatar for the audience, who just asks questions and like is a very like empathetic character, but like I don't know, like it never quite gets there, and I do think really all the performers, but particularly her, are just somehow like this ensemble I think like is dragging this movie to the finish line, and not like the director, maybe not the screenplay either.
Definitely trying to balance 10 characters.
Yeah, it's maybe trim a couple.
I was kind of trying to go through and like figure out if everyone got like something of a, not even an arc, just like an exploration or like more than one dimension to their character, and I think like 4 of them just don't. 4 of them, they just are the entire movie, and we don't really learn too much.
Yeah, like Pew Pew Fingers just like sits out the climax. And I like kind of, because like somebody has to go because there's just like too many, there's too many people.
This is where I feel like maybe this movie is trying to have like a larger message than what it actually has. And I have my whole pro-choice theory about this movie, where like this is something that is going to come to life at the cost of like 6 billion people who don't have a say in the matter, and Sersi's gonna kill it.
Yeah, and it's sort of like that case that's going on in Georgia now.
Yeah.
It's sort of more relevant now than like it was when it came out, which is kind of how I felt about Endgame. Like Endgame only got more relevant.
Yes.
It's just
strange. Watching those first couple of projects in the wake of COVID and like their government's response versus our government's response, just having those horrible similarities.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, you have like Kingo as like, I'm not gonna hurt you guys because of my beliefs, and just like the phrasing of that line, just like Chloe Zhao, who is the director, she's trying to say something. She doesn't have like I'm not going to kill you guys because of what I believe. Like that's
I mean I think it's super fair to say that this movie's allegory for choice, whether you're pro-choice or anti-choice, which is I prefer saying anti-choice.
Fair.
As a story point, is the reveal that they're all robots kind of lame? Or
this is again where like I just get into the fan fiction of it all, where it's like, what does it mean that we're all robots? Do we have like, and obviously like you can't really use the word human in a universe with like a bunch of aliens. I guess sentience, or I'm gonna use the word human because it's the word that we as humans are familiar with.
Sure.
Like what makes you human? Because obviously these characters feel and have like romantic relationships and can make bad choices and deal with the consequences of those choices. So like, does that make them human? Or like, if a robot is just like a programmed being, like how does that come into conversation with them and their what seems to be free choice?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can argue like DNA is a program, right? And we pass on our programs to our offspring. So like I think it just doesn't necessarily work in the story they're telling, I guess.
Sort of like if it's not going to come into play, why introduce the concept at all? Yeah,
like maybe like the reveal is just like you weren't created for the purpose you thought you were created for,
right?
And like that's like a little bit more interesting than like the fact that like you are not unique. There are a million like each of you, or whatever it is. Yeah, like I'm just not sure how well it like works in the context of this story, and how it kind of like undermines anybody's death, like whichever way they choose, whether it's Gilgamesh getting killed by the monster, or Ikaris just choosing to end his own life, like whether, but like if there were a million of them and like they would just show up in a theoretical sequel, like I guess there's less at stake. Is my concern.
I guess like what could happen in the non-existent sequel is like you have like the other copies of these characters show up, but obviously like not have the memories of what they all went through. And again, this is me reaching, but
Sure.
like Ajak has that whole thing about how like she never questioned like the grand design and killing entire planets in order to bring about celestials until like the people of Earth specifically reversed the snap and like kind of proved themselves. So like, can I theorize that like being amongst humanity, who is apparently so special, just like kind of like flicked something in their robot heads, and now like they have a greater capacity potentially than other Eternals? But yeah, that's me like writing fan fiction.
Yeah, and I also think that's all fair.
It's not what we see in the movie.
Yeah, that's definitely part of it. Something we do see in the movie, I do think the idea of Kit Harington as the Black Knight is a good idea. How it fits into this movie, I'm not sure. Like, I think they wanted to
he
give...
He was supposed to get a series. He was supposed to be in the Blade series.
Yeah.
That never happened, and I think at this point has just been shelved.
Yeah, I think it's just over now.
It's been years, and I know they've had a dozen director changes and writer changes. And we're just left dangling.
So this is a thought I had at the end of Star Wars Episode 9. Please grant me relief and end this thing. Billy D. Williams and the young lady are standing there at the climax, and Billy D. Williams is like, "Let's find out." And I'm like, "Set up your Disney Plus series on your own time, man. Like, at least like Kit Harington's in the entire movie." So it's like feels a little less forced, and I guess the idea is to give Sersi a connection to contemporary humanity, like a direct connection, which is like it works fine. But like this movie,
they were like so smart about casting Kit Harington and Richard Madden, who were brothers in Game of Thrones, to play Cersei's two love interests.
Yeah, that's right. Of course.
Like, I do think, like, there's the whole, like, they're obviously casting Game of Thrones because they look like they're related, so, like, Cersei dating someone who looks like her ex, like, that raises all sorts of...
interesting red flags.
Yes.
Yes. But I think that all works. Like, I think that's all fine. I think the issue you run into is the point where Kit Harington just disappears from the movie.
Yes.
Like, has no part to play in the climax of the movie at all. Which is fine, except for that, like, he's in, like, the entire movie until, like, he's just not anymore. And, like, he doesn't feel like he's not, like, a sassy side character, you know? And he's not, like, a provocative love interest, like...
He's there so Cersei can explain some things to him and to us.
Yeah, but, like, sometimes it's, like, flipped around where, like, things are just being explained to Cersei. And it's like, is Kit Harington the point of view character, or is Cersei the point of view? Is it Dane, or is it Cersei? It's like, well, it just depends on who's doing it, who's the point of view character at the time. Which I think, like, you can do if you're, like, really good at what you're doing. And, like, this just kind of, instead of just being a thing you don't notice, like, it feels like another thing that goes on the pile of things that are not particularly well executed in this movie. Fun. For fun. I think Thena is, like, the most interesting character. Who do you find, which couple, because I feel like there was, when this movie came out, there was a couple you related to the most, and who was it?
I got hard on the Druig and Jukari bandwagon, like...
So,
Druig,
that's the guy who controls minds, and the lady who
speedster.
runs super fast.
They get less than, like, 5 minutes of interactions on screen, but...
Yeah, and I think, like, it's clear that there's supposed to be something between them. So, like, I think it's, like, it's done well enough to convey the idea it wants to convey. But it's just kind of like a popsicle stick house. Like, it's like I wouldn't want to live in it, but, like, it's clearly a house. Is that fair or not fair? I lived in that
house for 6 months. I think, no, like, it's fair. Like, I was on TikTok and I saw, like, one, like, bad filmed in the movie theater clip, like, the where did you find this emerald tablet? My beautiful, beautiful Makari. And like, I was like, oh, what is this? I had no plans on seeing this movie, and now I'm going to go see what this couple that like I've gotten 5 different things about on my various social media is all about. And then you go in and they have like 3 moments, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm gonna run with this all by myself then.
Right.
I do think like, so like Makari, I definitely like I guess the fandom in general definitely spun out. Like she is collecting all of these things over time. We get to the domo in the present, and we find her like with like all of this stuff that she has presumably been stealing.
Right, right. Yes, that's right. Her big collection of junk.
This is again where it kind of plays into like her mythological inspiration of Mercury and Hermes. Along with being god of messengers, he is also god of thieves and just a trickster god in general. So like I think a lot of that got fed into her like fanon-made personality. Mm-hmm. And then Druig I just find fascinating, which I do think there was enough shown about him in the movie to find fascinating. Because like usually mind control characters go down like very dark paths.
Sure.
I think. And he obviously, and I guess this also plays into like the whole free will theme of this movie, where he just like takes that whole population's free will. Mm-hmm. But he does it to like keep them from killing each other.
Yeah,
and, like
it's
trying to stop a genocide. So like there's some benevolence there.
Right. It's like the idea of like this like benevolent ruler who has absolute power, and it's just like is there no system where somebody has absolute power that is not inherently evil, even if he wants to do good things, which is kind of interesting. But yeah, like in this crowded landscape of just like all of these characters, like do you have space to explore any of this stuff, whether it's Athena's mental illness or his god complex, or Sprite's struggles with, I guess it's really just comes down to her self-perception, I guess. Like, I think that's the thing, right? Everything is just kind of thin. It's like lots of really interesting ideas that like we just do not have time to explore, in part because like we have to do pew pew fingers like that, and there's just so many of them. Are there 10?
10.
There are 10. That is a fair few. That's a lot of characters.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is like horse by committee, or if it's just like I want to have all my toys in this, and I'm not leaving any of them out, and we're gonna play with all my toys, and that's just how it will be.
Presumably, like that's the team from the comics. So like.
Sure, but like
6
sometimes
Avengers is much more manageable. But
yeah, but I mean like there are all kinds of different Avengers teams from over the years, you know, like when like Captain America like reforms the Avengers, it's like Cap's kooky quartet, but like, and that's kind of the Avengers we end up with at the very end of Age of Ultron, but you know, the Falcon's there as well, like, you know, we have a couple extra. They thought like maybe they were gonna have Captain Marvel just there at the end of the movie with no explanation. And everyone's like, that's dumb. They're like, we better shoot it anyway with a stand-in in case we want to do it later. And then like they didn't do it. So like I think you can adapt things any way you want. Like even like in the novel Jaws, Brody and Quint have a very adversarial Brody and the Chief and Brody have a very adversarial relationship. And the movie, they're very much allies, because in adaptation you make changes, right? It's a totally different medium.
No, I know that like there were like gender bends for translation from comic to screen.
Sure. And like there's just like total character changes. Like I don't remember John Walker having like a wife and a kid. Maybe he did at some point, but like that wasn't the origins of his character were very much wrapped in to like his relationship to his parents, and like whether or not they were proud of him, or like who he was and like what he did, how he felt about it, rather than what they actually were expressing. And like, you know, like it's totally different. So, you know, like like you're just like, we're having 10 and that's all there is to it. And it's like, I don't know. There's lots of decisions to make. And I feel like somehow this movie like didn't make any choices except to not choose anything. Just to choose everything. So just something else I noticed last night while we were watching the movie, the score is kind of boring. Like, I'm just not, like, super into the score. Like, I don't, like, it's not, like, very exciting. You know, like, the Avengers score is, like, very exciting. Usually get, like, a decent score in a Captain America movie. Do you notice the score at all in this movie or not?
Yes. Because, like, there are certainly, like, they have a pretty consistent battle motif, I think. That I think probably is, like, the most interesting part of the score for me. Maybe. Like, it's what came into my head, so it must be the part I remember the most. And I think I like it. I think I like it quite a bit. Ikaris, like, comes at the end and is, like, about to, like, laser eye Sersi, and then he gets, like, you know, the flashback pummel, and it's set to, like, this chanting that does feel very, like, inconsistent with the rest of it. Like, like, as we were listening, I was like, have we heard anything that sounds like this over the past 2.5 hours?
Yeah.
And I think, like, the title of that specific track off the score is called, like, Star-Crossed Love or something. And, like, it's certainly meant to be, like, this great love theme to like, that I think they were hoping, like, draw parallels to, like, Across the Stars from Star Wars. But, like, I just don't think we heard, like, those notes in that order at any other point in the film. Oh, and then, like, the one thing that I noticed and that I was, like, kind of into was in the Makari beats up Ikaris scene. Every time they cut to that, she got, like, a cool electric guitar.
Yeah, I
was
think
like,
that's
yes.
right. So, would you say this is a movie that's generally for, like, fans of mythology?
Probably. Yes, I think.
More so than, like, general audiences?
Yes. Like, one of the things is, like, you could tell me that you could remove, like, all of the Thanos mentions and tell me that this wasn't an MCU movie, and I'd probably believe you.
Right.
Because, like, it does feel so disconnected from, like, the rest of the universe.
Yeah, because they haven't, like, I don't think in the first 3 phases, I guess, like, you kind of see Nowhere is the skull of a celestial.
Right.
But other than that, is that pretty
Nowhere.
much it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But I think that's all. Any last pitch?
I do know it was meant to be released earlier. I don't know if that would have helped it at all. It was one of the films that got pushed back due to COVID.
Right.
And then in being pushed back, it got released during that 2021 just absolute barrage of new content.
Yeah.
And towards the end. And also it was like, it was Shang-Chi, which I think was very, very good. And on the other side was Spider-Man No Way Home, which was obviously, like, the great return to movie theaters that everyone had been waiting for. So I definitely think, like, its position does make it overlooked. Not that that has, like, anything to do with, like, the issues in the story itself.
No, but I think it's just a problem that they have over at Disney where things are less special because they're constantly pelting us with things.
Right.
And, like, if they just, like, space it out a little bit, maybe, like, would just feel a little bit more exciting to humans. Like, if you just kind of portioned it out rather than just backing up a truck onto my front lawn and just dumping Marvel content on it. Because, like, I don't even have, like, I literally or figuratively don't have space for it. There are, like, entire MCU TV shows that I watched the pilot and then just, like, forgot about because it was, like, a new MCU show and I just didn't get a chance, you know? So, like, I hope there's nothing important in that Samuel L. Jackson show.
Oh, God.
Or
I have so many problems with that show.
I hope there's nothing important in Moon Knight or the young lady.
Ms. Marvel?
No, I saw that one. The other young lady.
Ironheart?
No,
that
the
just
other
came out.
the other young lady. who, like, I think in the pilot there's like a car accident that kills her family. I don't even know what that's called. Oh, I know what it's called. It's called Echo.
Oh,
And I was like, what a terrible name for an MCU show
Echo.
right now. Even if that's the character's name, it's like, yeah, like there's so much. It's like, I know, it's like it's constantly echoing around my house because like you guys won't be quiet. But I like that pilot, but I just forgot about it. Just got busy with something else, and like there's probably like a new MCU thing came out and I forgot about it. I can't pay attention.
Relatively speaking, in 2024 was like the least MCU we had gotten in a
I know,
while.
but by then I was already super behind. I was so far behind, like it didn't matter anymore.
I am willing to kind of concede that Eternals was like, it dropped at a very like pivotal time for me, like just in my life. It was like right at that time where I was switching colleges and kind of rethinking a lot of things, and not like as a life raft necessarily, but just something I could like have fun with and give my attention to that wasn't like, you know, determining what I was going to do with my life for the next 4 years.
Yeah. And I think that's an interesting thing about the movie, is that the movie is about that. It's about like what are you gonna pick? What are you gonna do? Like, yeah, like the movie is like an allegory for choice in general, although like it's more specific choice allegory. So I will say that I did like it better the second time.
Okay.
I think you know, MCU movies come with expectations, although at that point not really. But I guess we're running out of time, and I guess this is the end. Anything else you want to say?
I think that people should at least give it a chance, because I think it got review bombed before it even came out. I was still working for my school's paper at the time, and I got a story to write about like how like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb were like getting review bombed.
Yeah, I think this is like one of the movies like why they're
Like a 53% rating before it even premiered. So like I think it wasn't given a chance for many people, and I would say like just give it a chance. Like I don't want to hear you dragging this film if you have.
and that's going on with Superman right now too.
Yeah.